So it's like, I could have probably stopped it. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey.
Homie, they killed Nip too. Let's not forget, homie, they killed Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder was not a lone actor in that. If you go back and follow the details, Nip and Big U got into it.
No matter what, when I walk through the door, I'm the bad guy. For sure.
But why they put that on you though?
Because it's black. I'm black. I'm big. I fit the criteria.
Let's stop dancing around it. Jealousy got Nipsey Hussle killed. That's not a rumor. That's the word coming straight from someone who was deep in the trenches. A former Crip says we've been looking at all the wrong things this whole time. Somebody close to Nip didn't like what he was becoming. They saw the growth, the boss moves, the way the world respected him, and instead of celebrating him, they plotted against him. Now here's where it gets messy. The feds are circling back. After all this time, they're looking at this case again, because too many things still ain't adding up. Before the world knew Nipsey as the people's champ, before the Puma collabs and Grammy buzz, he was under Big U's wing. And listen, Big U wasn't just some random OG. He was the guy. He gave Nip the street stamp, kept him neutral when things could have gone left, and helped him move safely through LA. But like all street fairy tales, that brotherhood didn't last. Nipsey eventually broke away. He wanted ownership. He wanted freedom. And word on the street, he refused to sign back under Big U. That move right there allegedly changed everything.
Yo, I mean, so
wait, so your deal with Nipsey was 10 years?
It's 10 years.
Was it 10?
10 years, 20 publishing to Air Miss Astrodome.
Oh, wow. So, 09 to 2019.
09 to 2019.
Some say Big U felt played, disrespected, like his little homie just snatched the crown and dipped. And in hood politics, that's war energy. When you start shining brighter than your OG, egos flare up.
Tell me what it feels like to be here at the Grammys tonight.
Man, just excited, you know, inspired to keep making music. You know what I mean? It's my first album. I've been saying that all day. So to be nominated on my debut, that means a lot, you know?
Now this right here, chills. Loose Cannon hopped on IG Live back in 2019 with a story that made everyone stop scrolling. He said Nipsey called him just days before he was hit. And what Nip said might have been the biggest red flag of them all. Nip hinted that they were trying to set him up. And Big U was the main suspect. Despite this, Loose Cannon knew that Nipsey and Big U had their back and forth for a minute now, so he took the whole thing lightly.
We were just talking on regular, so it's like, at the end of the day, I didn't even think about it because
you don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so fucked up. It'd be like they be hot one minute, then they be cold the next minute, and then they be lukewarm. Like you and just
30 minutes after you get out the phone with Nip,
he didn't name names, but according to Loose, Nip was watching the people around him move different. Fake smiles, weird energy, people getting too close too fast. Now here's where things start getting shady. After Nipsey was unalived, his longtime friend and producer J-Rock went off. Not just in mourning, but in full suspicion mode. He hit IG Live and said people came to snatch up Nip's studio gear within hours of the shooting. Like, before the blood was even dry. We're talking mics, hard drives, beats, personal files. Gone, and the name that kept coming up in those whisper circles, Big U. J-Rock didn't hold back. He said certain people knew exactly what to grab. Not just any equipment, but the stuff that mattered. The real stuff. Like they came with a shopping list. Before the world lost Nipsey, the crew lost Fats. If you know the marathon story, then you know who Fats was. Nipsey's right hand. His brother from another. The glue that held everything tight behind the scenes. But in 2017, Fats got gunned down in Compton. And just like that, a piece of the foundation cracked. On paper, it looked like just another LA shooting. But in the streets, people weren't buying it. Whispers started flying. And what they were saying gave the whole thing a new light.
R.I.P. both the Fats, Nipsey Hussle's best friend.
Krusty, that was my celly in Lancaster, man. Me and him was porters, man. Lancaster building 2.
Yeah. You know what we went through, you know?
We got the old footage, man. Be on there, man.
Y'all gonna see Fats with big t-shirts. You know, this didn't change, man. You know what I'm saying? We growing. Still going, man. It's a marathon, man. You know.
People believed Fats knew too much about Nipsey's plans, about shady alliances forming in the background, about jealousy bubbling in places Nipsey didn't even see yet. There's even talk that Fats was trying to warn Nip to tell him certain people in their circle weren't solid anymore. But that warning might have come too late. The theory that's been growing, Fats got set up because he was willing to call out the snake in the grass. That snake was gonna strike first.
Got mad, went down there, right? This is when he got set on his pockets, you know, by Fats, rest in peace, right? Went down there, this is when Black Sam allegedly came out the store firing in the air.
Now here's where the street politics turn into something deeper. Because when it comes to Big U, his name stays floating around some heavy allegations. There are sealed court docs out there, gang cases, weapons charges, heavy stuff. And guess whose name allegedly pops up tied to some of them? Yep, Big U. Now here's where things get real. The theory says Big U made a deal with the feds. You know the drill. Give us names, stay out of jail. And if that's true, then the streets weren't safe for anybody close to him.
In the pandemic, even before that, they was going for like 350. You get what I'm saying? We been thinking like the ghost guns, they go for 1,000. You get what I'm saying? But we talking about brand new.
You know what Nipsey allegedly found out? That Big U might have flipped, turned informant. And once you know that kind of secret, you're a threat. Not just to the streets, but to the entire operation. So, Nipsey's gone. Fats is gone. But it don't stop there. After that, more bodies dropped, and they all seem to connect in real eerie ways. Take PNB Rock, for example. On the surface, he's an East Coast artist. Not necessarily marathon affiliated, right? But here's what most people missed. He had strong ties with LA hitters. He was messing with certain people, allegedly got linked up with Big U and a few other management types, and suddenly he's pushed into LA's street maze. He gets gunned down broad daylight in Roscoe's, with his location tagged. Like, who really set that up? Fans were screaming inside job from day one.
Listen, you talking about all this other stuff, trying to change your life. You can't change your life because what in the dark must come to the light, sweetheart. It don't matter what you did. It could be 20 years from now.
And then there's Ray Sean, also known as Killa Twan, one of Nipsey's steppers. His death? Another random street shooting. But guess what people said? He was getting too chatty. He knew things about how certain moves were being made before Nipsey's murder. Things that could have unraveled the wrong people. It's starting to look like this ain't just random violence. This is cleanup. Allegedly. And that's not even touching the others who ended up silenced, missing, or suddenly going ghost after Nipsey died. Like, where's Cowboy now? One day he's testifying at the trial, the next he's popping up talking in riddles, and then crickets. Too many coincidences, not enough answers.
Yeah. They play with my life because, you know, at the time, you know, the hood was mad. Any homie that was even in the vicinity, because niggas couldn't figure out, like, how could that happen? Like, I mean, that was just, things don't realize when that happened, that was like unimaginable. Like, Nip, how could that happen right there? It was just so unimaginable, like.
So let's really talk. If all these people had one thing in common, they knew something about Nip, Big U, or that marathon management circle, then what does that tell you? Somebody's erasing the receipts. After Nipsey's death, everyone came out saying, we gotta protect the legacy. But what went down behind the scenes? Whole different story. Let's start with the Marathon brand. The stores, the clothing, the music. That wasn't just a side hustle. It was a full-on empire, estimated to be worth millions even before his death. Now here's where it gets ugly. The ownership, the contracts, they're murky. Rumors say Nipsey was starting to restructure everything. He was allegedly planning to cut certain people out, including people who'd helped him start it all. Think old gang affiliates, ex-managers, even possible inside investors. And those same people could have stood to lose a whole bag if Nipsey had pulled the plug. That's where the whispers start flying. Was Nipsey killed because he was taking back control of his brand? Was someone afraid the truth about how his business was built would come out?
Early in the morning, 6:30, used to go right down the street to Fats, pick him up. Used to post up right here early in the morning before the sun even come out. Be posted up right here in this parking lot, getting it every day. We had our table set up right here. Probably like 3 days in a row, police came, pulled up, took all our shit.
Some say Big U felt entitled to a piece of that marathon pie. Not legally, but street level. Like, I helped build this. I deserve a cut. And when Nipsey allegedly started pushing back, saying, I don't owe you nothing, well, that could have been the breaking point. And before Nipsey even dropped victory lap, there were already whispers that Uncle Sam had tabs on him. We're talking surveillance, wiretaps, and even some wild claims that his store, the Marathon Clothing, was being watched 24/7. And get this, it's not just because of him. The whole Slauson Plaza was hot. Hot like feds in unmarked vans waiting on somebody to slip up hot. Why? Well, allegedly, Nipsey was too powerful, too independent, and too connected. He was moving like a young black mogul, real estate deals, tech collabs, community building, all without bowing to the industry or the system. And let's be real, they hate that. A black man from South Central building up his hood and teaching financial literacy? Yeah, that's when the real problems start.
Obviously the artist was crazy, drew visuals, and it just brings some color, you know, to a place where all the kids gonna be every day, you know, surrounded by art. I think it's good for the brain, I think it's good for the spirit.
Now here's where it gets scary. Sources claimed the feds were working with local police, monitoring Nipsey's business, his crew, and especially anyone tied to Rollins' 60s. But the weirdest part? After his death, none of that footage from the plaza surveillance was released. Some even believe Nipsey's killing wasn't just a neighborhood hit, it might have been allowed to happen. That's the real conspiracy. Like, let them take each other out, less work for us. Allegedly, of course. And who benefits when leaders like Nipsey are gone? Exactly. Now we gotta talk about Eric Holder, the alleged shooter, the so-called hater, the guy who supposedly snapped cause Nipsey called him a snitch. First of all, folks in the streets said Eric was off the radar.
Eric Holder.
Oh, yeah.
60 years.
60 to life. Yeah.
60 to life. I mean, 60 is life. Let's just call it what it is.
He finna be gone a long time.
Then boom, out of nowhere, he pulls up to the plaza, argues with Nip, leaves, comes back, and does the unthinkable. But here's the odd part. Why did he come back with military-like precision? Why was the getaway so fast? Why did no one retaliate immediately if this was really street beef? Now, some insiders believe Eric was used. Bosco 100 says he was manipulated, possibly even on medication, and may have had handlers that pushed him into that moment.
But obviously in the gang world, a lot of the gang, like, they not gonna jump on the internet and say it, but a lot of the niggas from his own hood, they gonna feel like Eric Holder was in the right and he did what he was supposed to do as a gangster, as a street nigga.
Even crazier, when he was arrested, it wasn't in LA. He ended up all the way in Bellflower at a mental health facility. Then boom, trial delayed multiple times, media blackout, and when the verdict came out, nobody was talking, not even Nip's people. Here's where it gets real eerie. After the camera stopped rolling, the murals faded, and the headlines moved on. His closest people went mute, like totally ghosted. People wanted answers about why security wasn't with him that day, why no retaliation happened, why the plaza footage disappeared, why people around him moved on so fast, and what did we get? Silence. Even his big-name industry friends, real quiet. Some of the same people who once shouted him out in songs, posted endless tributes, and wore TMC merch, suddenly got amnesia. No follow-up, no pressure for justice, just vibes and IG stories. So now the question is, did people really love Nip? Or did they just love the idea of him? Because when the love fades and the silence speaks louder than the clout, that's when the truth starts to show. And now I gotta leave you all with 3 questions that need to be on your mind before you click away. Was Nipsey really taken out by a lone shooter? Or was he the target of a bigger agenda that didn't want to see a real one elevate the hood? Did someone in his circle, Someone who envied his power and reach helped set him up out of jealousy? Like, did Big U see Nipsey's influence growing too big, too fast? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to hear what you think really went down. And of course, if you don't want to miss out on any new drops, receipts, or twists in this story, smash that like button. Hit subscribe and tap that bell so you're always locked in when we dive deep.